Tomorrow at 6 a.m. I have to be at the hospital because I am having a procedure done. I am having a hysteroscopy with a DNC and a polyp removal and an ablation. So hopefully that will fix a lot of the problems I've been having. I'll talk more about the problems in a minute. I'm about to go eat a nice dinner because I'm not going to be able to eat after midnight, and then I'm probably not going to want to eat much after the anesthesia. This is your TMI warning. If you don't want to hear about the problems I've been having health-wise, this is your cue to find something else to do. For the last several years, my periods have been very, very painful. They've lasted longer than the normal 3 to 5 days. Mine are more like a week and a half. And they've been very, very heavy. Lots of clotting, to the point where for 2 or 3 days of each cycle, I have to wear a tampon and a pad at the same time, and that lasts me about 45 minutes. So pretty substantial bleeding, to the point that I'm actually anemic because I'm losing so much blood. So being anemic, of course, has made me really tired and lethargic, besides the fact that I'm also in pain and just want to curl up in a ball and not do anything. So this has been really affecting my quality of life. So hopefully this surgery tomorrow is going to make all that much better. It is almost 5 in the morning and I'm about to leave to go to the hospital for my surgery. I've taken off all of my jewelry, including my nose piercing and my wedding ring, and I feel kind of naked without those things. I keep freaking out a little bit every time I look down and I don't see my wedding ring, but hopefully I will stop freaking out about that soon. There's my husband being a good sport this early in the morning and waiting on me here. We left the hospital around 9:30. It is now about 12:30 and I am in a lot of pain. I do have some Lortabs that I can take at 2 o'clock, but they have Tylenol in them, and I had Tylenol right before I left the hospital, so I can't take them for a while. I am using a heating pad, and it is taking the edge off just enough to where I'm able to lay here and not cry. But I think the reason it's hurting so much is just because they did so many procedures. Like, any one of these procedures, it says it's just supposed to cause like some maybe cramping, but because I had the hysteroscopy, the polyp removal, the DNC, and the ablation, I think it was just a lot for my poor little uterus to handle. So it's traumatized and it's hurting me and it's very angry right now, but it will be worth it if it does what I'm hoping it will do. So just wanted to check in and let you know how I'm feeling. Yesterday, you could probably tell from the video, I was feeling really, really terrible. I was hurting a lot more than I expected that I was gonna hurt. The heating pad was a major game changer. If you have to have any kind of surgery like this done, if you're gonna have a DNC, if you're gonna have an ablation, anything like that, make sure to get a heating pad before your surgery, because I did not have one. My husband actually went and bought me one after my surgery, and once I put the heating pad on, I almost immediately felt better. So it would have been awesome if I'd have had it as soon as I came home. So in retrospect, I would have had a heating pad waiting on me, but yeah, much better today. I'm really hoping this works out for me. 30% of women after an ablation don't have a period anymore. I am really hoping to be in the 30%, but even the ones that still have a period, it's usually like way lighter and better. So
This was the last step, the last thing to try before a hysterectomy, and hopefully this will keep me from having to have that more invasive surgery. My doctor did say when she got in there and looked around with the scope that the polyp I had was pretty large. It was a substantial size. I did have fibroids. So pretty much my uterus was like, hey, anything that we can make wrong, let's just go ahead and do that. They've sent tissue samples of both of those things to pathology. She does not expect there to be like any problem with that, but they always just want to check and be sure, make sure everything's safe. So I will update again to let you know how I'm feeling later and let you know what my recovery continues to look like. Just to check in today, it is day 2 after surgery. I'm tired today. I've been a little sore, but I've been able to manage things with just ibuprofen and Tylenol. And so far today has felt a lot better. This is day 3 after my surgery, and I'm gonna be honest, I have been in a little more pain today than I was yesterday. A little more spotting today. Still nothing major, just slight spotting. Enough to where I have to wear a pad, but not so much that it even comes close to filling it up. But yesterday there was almost 0 spotting. And then today there's been considerably more spotting, and I've been a little crampier. So not sure what that's about, but I did want to answer some questions that I had before I had this surgery done that I looked on YouTube to find answers for that you may be wondering. The first is, what did it feel like in the hospital? Like, what was the deal? First, they took me back without my husband to get me ready for surgery. They gave me my IV, I put on like my hospital gown, all that stuff. Then they let my husband come back until it was time for me to actually go to surgery. When they came to take me to surgery, the anesthesiologist said, hey, I'm gonna put a little Versed in your IV. This is gonna make you feel less anxiety and get you ready to go back for surgery. Probably gonna feel like you've had a shot of tequila. And so I had taken my glasses off to go back. So I didn't know if everything was blurry because I didn't have my glasses on or because of the Versed. But what I will say is before we even made it to the operating room, I was already out. So any other time I've ever had surgery, I can remember being in the operating room and then putting the mask over my face and saying, take a deep breath. I did not have that experience this time. I don't remember even going into the operating room. As far as I know, I was out in the hallway on the way to the operating room. And you know what? That's how I would prefer it. Because I always get a little anxiety when they put the mask on and they're like, breathe in, and you know that you're like about to go out. That always gives me a little anxiety. So I was kind of happy that I was already out before that point. Then the next thing I know, like immediately, I'm opening my eyes and my nurse and my husband are in the room. Apparently I had already been up talking a little bit before this, but I don't remember that. The first thing that I actually remember is when my husband was in there and my nurse was in there, and I remember feeling like I had to go to the bathroom. I told my nurse that I had to go to the bathroom, and he said I probably didn't have to go. I probably just felt that way because of the catheter that I'd had, but that if I wanted a bedpan, that he would give me one. And I was like, yes, I want one. After several minutes, he came back and I said, I don't know if I went to the bathroom or if I'm just bleeding or what. And I don't think I even went to the bathroom. I think I just bled a little bit. What to me seemed like 5 minutes later, they came in and were getting ready to read me my discharge instructions. My husband says this was actually about 45 minutes later, and that I was awake the whole time and talking. I didn't fall asleep, but in my mind, it was like 5 minutes. So I was still pretty loopy on the anesthesia. They read me my discharge instructions. A nurse that also had pink hair took me to the car, so that was pretty cool. We got a selfie together, me and the sweet little pink-haired nurse, and I came home. They had given me some Toradol in the hospital and a prescription for Lortab, and my husband brought me home first so I could go ahead and lay down, and then he went to go get my medicine and the heating pad. And as I stated in a previous part of this video, I was pretty miserable for the first 2 or 3 hours while he was gone, and then when he got back, but before I was able to take my medicine, it was pretty miserable. The heating pad helped a lot. And then I was able to take the good meds, and that helped even more. I had a prescription for like 5 of the Lortabs. So I took one then, and then the rest of them I have been saving to take at bedtime, because when I lay down and I'm trying to sleep is when it's the most annoying to her, because it keeps me from being able to sleep. So I'm taking alternating ibuprofen and Tylenol during the day, and then at bedtime I'm taking a Lortab to help me sleep. After that initial first few hours, it's been completely bearable. It's just been like significant period cramps. Like if you have bad period cramps, you know that they're not like end of the world, but they're pretty painful and annoying. So it's been getting progressively better and better and better. And like I said, then today I woke up and I was hurting a little bit more than I had been. So I'm sure it's just my body is healing, and we're to a part where that healing is making it hurt a little more. But yeah, I've been a little tired. I've been still a little brain fog, groggy, sore, crampy, but definitely will be totally worth it if this fixes the problems I've been having. Another question that I anticipate is what brought us to this point. There are other things you can try before you get to the point of ablation, DNC, all that stuff. And we had tried all those things. First, just to help with the bleeding, we tried birth control pills. Those actually had the opposite effect. Instead of making the bleeding stop, I was doing the continuous cycle where you don't take the placebo pills. Instead of making my period stop, I just bled every day. So that didn't work. We tried the Nexplanon. That's the little implant that goes in your arm. It was right in there in my arm. I had it for 9 months, because it can take a few months for your body to adjust. After 9 months of wearing it, it was the same as the pill. Literally bled every day. Now the bleeding was lighter than it had been, but instead of it being a week and a half every month, it was every single day. And so that was not cool. That was not sustainable. That was unbearable. Then we tried the patch. Patch also did not work. The next things that were offered were either to try an IUD, but I figured it would just be the same as all these other things that didn't work, or we could try the ablation. I went to have my appointment before the ablation. That was like just a checkup. And they did an ultrasound, and that's when they noticed that I had a polyp and also some fibroids. And they were like, you know what? We can just take care of all this at this one appointment. We will take samples to send to pathology. Then if this doesn't work out, we'll give it a few months. And if it doesn't work out, then we will move on to hysterectomy. Another cool thing that I will say is that my doctor that actually did my surgery is a friend of mine from church. So I actually knew her from church before she was my doctor. And she's super sweet. I trust her with my life. And so it was really cool to have somebody that I know and trust doing my surgery. It made me feel a lot more calm when she came in the day of my surgery, and she was like, how you feeling about it? I told her, I'm like, if you feel good about it, I feel good about it. And she said she felt great about it. So everything went just as planned. And that was really cool that she was able to make me feel so comfortable. This is probably the last update that I'm going to do, because I just imagine that from here on out it's going to get better and better and better. I will in a few months give an update and let you know if it solved the problems, if it made my period stop, if it made it way lighter, if it didn't help and we have to get the hysterectomy. I will let you know. But if you are considering having this done, I would say it was an easy procedure. There was some cramping, there was some pain, but nothing that you couldn't handle. And if it fixes the problem, I would say definitely 100% have it done.